So in the previous clip, we discussed how to attempt small questions. Now we are in this particular clip, we are going to talk about how to attempt the essay type questions or the long questions where we do not have any particular scenario or case study. We are just being given a question and we are trying to explain it in detail. Now the long questions, the essay type questions, they are going to have a few command words attached to them. What are command words? The command words, like in the previous clip we were talking about define and list and briefly describe. Here the command words are going to be describe, explain, analyze, evaluate, or discuss. These are the different kinds of command words for long version of questions, which are also called essay type questions. Now these questions, when we are talking about discuss means that you are going to see, both the sides of the picture. Find the brighter side and the darker side. That is, you are going to talk about the advantages as well as the disadvantages. For example, if the question is discuss whether the business should go, should undergo the change, then we are going to talk about the advantages and disadvantages of undergoing the change, and then we are going to give a conclusion. So discuss means that you have to explain everything in detail and you have to talk about the advantages and disadvantages, basically implications of something or of some event, and on the basis of it you are going to give a conclusion as well. Then we talk about the command word analyze. When we are being asked to analyze, usually we are just going to talk about we identify. For example, analyze the advantages of being a private limited company. So when we are talking about the word analyze here, we are just going to identify the advantages and then we are going to justify how these are advantages which are being called advantages by us. Obviously, if something is giving profit to an organization, it becomes something which is an advantage for the organization as well. So in analyze, what are you going to do? You are going to give a detailed account of each and every advantage. You are going to justify that whatever you are saying is right, be it advantages, be it disadvantages, be it anything else. So in analyze questions, you are going to analyze everything and you may give a conclusion, though there are hardly any marks attached to conclusion in the analyze questions. But then again, there's no harm in doing that at the end of the question. So now we are going to talk about the word evaluate. Evaluate means now you have to give your own opinion, you have to give your own judgment, and you have to conclude what you think is best for for the organization in the current scenario or for that particular event to happen. We need to understand, we need to conclude, we need to give some kind of opinion. We need to use words like must, should, or it can be concluded, or it can be inferred, or it can be deducted on the basis of above discussion. So you are not only making a judgment, but you are also justifying it. So when the word evaluate is given, evaluation or opinion or judgment has to be given, and it has to be supported by all different kinds of analysis that have been given by us in the middle of the question or towards the end of the question. So the evaluate questions, they require obviously analysis, which is then resulting in the conclusion or evaluation to be made by the candidate. After that, we talk about the questions which are, for example, describe and explain. They are just like the word discuss, where you are again going to give both sides of the picture. You are going to give both sides of the coin. You are going to talk about the advantages and disadvantages and all the positives and all the negatives, all the positive forces, all the negative forces. So once you do that, as a result of it, you are able to describe or explain properly. What you need to understand here is, in all these essay type questions, there are 4 ingredients in all of them. The first one is what you call as knowledge. You start with some kind of knowledge. You are going to define something, and after that you are going to move on to the next part or the next paragraph. Okay, once you have defined, once you have introduced the topic, after that you are going to basically talk about something which is called application and analysis. Now, application means identification of advantages or implications. And analysis means explaining each of them individually. And it is then followed by evaluation or judgment that is made. Let me skim through it very quickly. 4 different ingredients of essay type questions. You start with knowledge, that is some kind of definition. Then you identify the points which are required to be discussed, and then you discuss them in detail, you analyze them, you justify everything that you have identified, and finally you conclude or give your inference or give your deduction, which is obviously supported with all the different kinds of analytical arguments that have been given by you, in the question. Thank you very much. I'll see you in the next.